I'll mute you guys. Feel free to unmute if you need to speak up for anything.
Sure. Yeah, we know the drill.
Oh, wait.
Thank you.
Hold on. I haven't been on Zoom for so long that I'm like, how do I mute it? Oh, there you are. All right. Okay, we're going to start in a seated position. So make sure you're sitting on something. And whatever's comfortable with the legs, I want you to scoot those sit bones all the way to the edge. So you're almost rocking off of your edge of your towel. And then sit nice and tall, feeling that neutral pelvis. So sit bones straight down. And out of that neutral pelvis, your vertebrae can stack a little bit more effortlessly right on top of that neutral pelvis. Close down the eyes. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. Fill up the lungs through the nose. And then sigh out through the mouth. Do that a few more times. Inhale through the nose, nice and big and full. And then sigh it out. Make a noise. Don't be shy. Twice more. Inhale. Release tension with that exhale. One more time. Now seal the lips. Begin to breathe a little more effortlessly in and out. Letting your natural rhythm sort of settle in. And then just become only aware of your inhale and your exhale. That's the only thing you need to tune into right now. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Continue that breath, mindful breathing, just focusing on your inhale and exhale. Blink open your eyes and take your hands and just rub them along your thighs. Slowly at first. You can keep your eye gaze low still. And just create that friction of your hand on your thigh. Feeling that sensation of that rubbing of back and forth. Maybe some heat creation. And then pause your hands next time they come near your knees. And just come into stillness one more time. And really feel that sensation now of stillness. Maybe there's a little tingling in the palms. Your thighs might have gotten warm and now they're feeling the cool air. Become aware of just that sensation in your body. All right, we're going to slowly transition to your back, so take your time to do so. You've got some space. You can put your blanket or towel off to the side. You won't need that for the moment. Bend both of your legs with your feet flat on the ground. And allow your hands to rest gently on either hip, just right out in front of your pelvis. I'm just going to settle here on your back. You can allow your knees to come together and your feet to come wide if that feels nice and grounding for you. And as we sort of settle into this position on our back, I want you to feel the ground underneath you. Become heavy in the hips, heavy in the shoulders and head. Allow the elbows to rest gently on either side of you. And your feet to be firmly on the ground. And then tap back into that inhale and exhale. Just being concerned with your breath right now. Creating full, even breath. All right, heel toe your feet back so they're about hip width. Leave your left leg bent and bring your right leg up above your hip. And you can just grab it behind the knee for now. I want you to gently pull on that leg so you feel a stretch through your hamstring, maybe even through your calf. And then pull your toes towards your face so that you really stretch out that calf muscle. Be gentle here. A slight bend in the knee might help a little bit if you're feeling really tight through the back of your leg. Relax the shoulders as much as you can while still stabilizing your leg with your hands. Pull the belly in just a little bit to help anchor the hips on the ground. Now I want you to release that out just a little bit and then exhale, pull it in again. We're leaving our back on the ground, just pulling the leg in. And then inhale, release. Exhale, pull it in gently again. We'll do that twice more. Inhale, let it come over the hip. Exhale, pull it in. And then release that leg down. And let's go to the other side. So their left leg comes up straight above the hip. And you can grab the leg wherever it feels the most comfortable for you. And then give a little tug on that leg. And think about those toes being pulled to your face and be gentle here. This can be a big stretch, not only in the muscles, but also in the nerves. So you want to be careful not to go too far into this too fast or tug too hard, so be gentle. Soft knee might help for a tight hamstring. And then release some tension through the shoulders. Think about pulling the belly in. Now release it out. Exhale, pull it in, nice and gentle. Thinking about those toes pulling to the face. Release and pull back in on your exhale. One more time. Good. Release both feet down to the mat. About hip width, and then pull the heels in close to the hips. We're going to scoop our hips up into bridge. So make sure you're getting that nice scooping feeling through the hips, and then the spine rolls up. Hold at the top for just a moment. We're not going to be here for too long. I want you to feel the heels really pushing down into the ground and pushing the hips up while you squeeze through the glutes. I want you to start to lower the spine down one vertebrae at a time, really finding that time to give each vertebrae its moment, even the low back. So you got to pull the belly in, push the low back on the ground, then the tailbone. Once you get to the tailbone, pull that belly in, scoop the hips up, come all the way up nice and slow, all the way to that top point where you're squeezing the glutes and feeling that opening through the front of the hips, and then release it down. I'm going to have you do two more, taking your time, pausing for a moment at the top of your bridge. So really articulate that spine both up and down, focusing on your body and how it's moving, how it feels to move your body in this way. We'll do one more. And then when you're at the bottom of your second bridge, let your knees fall side to side. Just a little windshield wipering. Let the hips rock. You might even get a pop through the low back. That kind of feels good. A couple more, just slowly letting the range of motion of those knees go deeper. And then pausing in the middle. Take your right leg right up above the hip. If you want to use a strap here or use your hands behind your knee, you can do that. And you're going to exhale, point your toe. Inhale, pull your toes towards your face. Exhale, point. Inhale, pull the toes to the face. So keep doing that. Use your breath. Right, this just helps drain the fluid from our legs. It uses our contraction of our muscles in our lower leg, our breath, and the movement through the joint. On our next exhale, bend at the knee, keep the knee right over the hip, but drop the heel to the glute. And then inhale, straighten up. So each time I want you to find the quadricep on the front as you straighten out, and then pull the heel in towards the glute just a little bit to engage that hamstring. Engaging those muscles on either end is going to help sort of pump fluid out of this leg, this lower limb. Keep going. Little bit of a squeeze on either end, just a little bit. One more, and then next time your leg is straight, leave it there and have little circles. While you do this, tap back into your breath, right? Where's your breath at? Bring it back in, nice and big and full and equal. Are you hiding any tension in the shoulders or jaws? Make sure you switch directions of your circle. Pause in stillness, let the foot come down. 2 more bridges with your scoop of the hips, nice and slow and controlled. Every vertebrae is coming up on its own, squeeze at the top, and then every vertebrae comes down on its own. And we'll do that one more time. And then once you get to the bottom, couple windshield wipers, let the knees fall, find that dynamic movement through the hips. And then pause in the middle. Left leg extends up long. You can use a strap or your hands behind your hip, your leg, or nothing, either or. On your exhale, point. Inhale, flex. So again, finding the calf as you point, finding the shin muscles as you flex. Point and flex using your exhales and inhales. Relax the rest of your body where you can. On your next exhale, bend at the knee. Pull that heel in towards the glute. Find the hamstring, that engagement just a little bit. And then extend it up, find the quad. That requires you to kind of lock out the knee, pull the kneecap up the leg there. And you're always keeping the knee right over the hip. Use your breath here, exhaling as you pull that heel into the butt. Inhale as you extend out long. One more. And then the next time your leg is straight, leave it there. Find some circles. Nice and even breath. Switch directions. Come to stillness, release the foot to the ground. 2 bridges, taking the time and control through the ascend and descend of your bridge. Finding that full squeeze through the glutes and the opening through the front of the hips on the top. After your second one, extend your left leg long. And then bring your right knee into your chest. So just grab that knee. If you need to, you can use a strap. Otherwise, pulling that knee gently into the chest. And I want you to think about it really extending that left leg long. So pull the kneecap up the leg of that left leg just to anchor that hip and leg to the ground. And then just feel the stretch through the groin, the compression through the right side. And then release that knee just a little bit, slide it to the right and pull it to the outside of the rib cage. And you might find that the hips kind of on the left side, they come light. So really pull those hips and ground them. Release the knee, grab the outer edge of the foot. If you can grab it, you can also grab your ankle or the back of your knee. We're going to do a half happy baby. So pulling down on your foot, but also pushing into your foot a little bit. So there's equal pressure there. Grounding the left side and then actively pulling that knee to the outer rib cage. Couple breaths here. if you're feeling good and you have some opening through your right side, and you want to see how it feels to start to straighten that leg. Again, making sure you have pressure on your hand with your foot and your foot into your hand. Otherwise, you're just really kind of enjoying that opening in happy baby here. We're going to slowly glide our right leg across our body, letting our hips come to a stacking position. You can kind of pick that left hip up and resituate it in the middle of your mat, coming into a twist. So just a nice supine twist. Open up the right hand. You can bring the left hand to that outer knee and gently tug it towards the ground. A block under that right knee as it falls to the left might also be supporting if you feel like you're pretty tight here in this twist. I want you to take a couple of nice deep breaths, and as you exhale, I want you to sink into the twist a little bit more, and I want you to feel a little bit heavier on the ground. Just slowly come back through center. Center your hips onto the mat. And then extend your right leg. Extend it long, engage that leg so it's nice and strong. And then pull your left knee in towards the chest, right into the chest. And then just tune into sort of that opening through the right side of the hip as you engage that whole leg, and then the compression that's happening on the left side. And then release the hip or the knee a little bit and pull that knee to the side as you pull it to the outside of the rib cage. Then again, you want to make sure that right hip is anchored, and you can put your hand on there. Sometimes that's a good reminder, just to keep it grounded. Release tension through the shoulders. Tap into your breath. Release that knee and find either the edge of the foot or the ankle or the back of the knee for half happy baby. Nice, you guys both have your foot, that's awesome. All right, so really extend your right leg and then pull that left knee down. Make sure you've got a little bit of pressure from the foot to the hand and the hand to the foot. So it's not just the hand putting pressure on the foot, it's the foot giving it back too. And then if you want to try that opening up, see how straight you can get your leg. You know, maybe that's not there for you today or on this side. So you're focusing on that half happy baby, which is a great place to be. A couple deep breaths. And then slowly guide that leg across your body into your supine twist. You can pick up that bottom hip and kind of adjust it more towards the center of your mat. And then the left arm goes long. You can turn and look over your left side. Your right hand can come onto that right knee and gently pull it to the ground, or you can go more restorative and put a block under that knee and have it, give it a grounding place with the block. Slowly come through center. Right, square out the hips on the mat, and then just a couple of windshield wipers. And then at one point, I want you just to roll right onto one side, whichever side you like, feels right. And just use your bicep as a little pillow and pause here for a second. Shut down your eyes. We're gonna come into seated, so we're gonna change our position. But before we do so, I want you just to feel the grounding of the earth underneath you. And then when you're ready, come on up to a seated position, grab your towel, set yourself up in that neutral pelvis sitting position. Let your hands rest gently on your knees. And then again, just finding the edge of your towel or blanket. and feeling that grounding sensation through the bottom half, that lighter sensation through the upper half. A couple of nice deep breaths here. Your next inhale, up and over with your hands. Let your right hand come down, find a side stretch as you exhale. And then come up through center, kind of a seesaw here, dropping the left hand, reaching across, exhaling, inhaling through center, cartwheeling from side to side. Use your breath, inhale through center, exhale as you stretch and bend. We're gonna do that one more time, either side. After you've done your left side, come up with an inhale. Exhale, right hand down to the mat behind you. Bring your left hand to your right knee and twist. Inhale up through center. So we're gonna keep this dynamic. And exhale right into the other side twist. So left hand behind your hip, right hand across the body on the right, on the left shoulder or the left knee. And then inhale, exhale. Shoulders down the back as you twist. Inhale, exhale. One more time each side. After you've gone to the left side, inhale up. Look up, watch your hands connect. Exhale down through heart center. Continue that. Inhale up. Look up. Watch them connect. Exhale, heart center. Keep going. Twice more. Last one. Sitting tall. I want you to send those hands out in front of you as you kind of rock forward. Try to keep your sit bones grounded as you reach those hands out in front of you. Think about bringing your belly button towards your heels, keeping your shoulders down and your spine long. So how far you can get into this sort of cross-legged forward fold is really up to you. I want you to think about long spine, hips staying grounded, and then sinking into it. A couple more breaths. You can use your hands if you're folded to walk back up. Put your hands on your knees and then exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale. Inhale. Keep going. One more of each. All right, come to a neutral spine. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Leave them up, palms forward. Exhale, bend at the wrist. Inhale, straight up. Exhale. Inhale. Keep going. Next exhale, squeeze into a fist. Inhale, release. So exhale, find that engagement, really find that fist squeeze, and then inhale, release. Keep going. One more exhale, squeeze, and then inhale, release. Now small little circles. Switch directions. Come to stillness, look up, reach up, bring your hands together and bring your hands down to heart center as you exhale. Pause here, bring the elbows up, hands, palms together. Exhale, push those hands together. Feel that chest engage. Inhale, release. Exhale, press. Pull the shoulders down the back. Pull the belly in for alignment. Inhale, release. Keep going. Exhale. Last one. Exhale. Inhale. Bring your arms to cactus arms. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades. Keep the belly in so you keep the alignment. Inhale, release. Exhale, pull those shoulder blades together. Inhale, release. So as you open up that chest and squeeze the back, pull the belly in so that you have proper alignment. Release. Exhale. Inhale, one more. This time, bring your hands to heart center and release your hands to your knees. Take your right hand and just let it come to the mat next to you. And then on your exhale, let your left ear drop to your left ear. Sorry, left ear to your left shoulder. That's what I mean. Good. So just feeling that nice long sort of stretch through the side of your body, the right side of the neck. And then take that chin and round it down towards the shoulder. So keeping that tilt, but now we're kind of looking away. That'll increase the stretch. It'll bring it a little bit more to the front. You can even nod that chin up a little bit and it'll bring it into the front of the neck and into the jaw. And then come back into that just a tilted position and then take the chin and round it up to the ceiling. Release it back down into that tilt. Inhale up to neutral. Exhale, tilt. So just find that stretch every time you exhale and inhale to center. Exhale. Every time you exhale and tilt, think about that right shoulder being pulled away from the right ear. One more. On your next exhale, turn over the left shoulder. Pause there. Take that right shoulder and pull it back in space just a little bit so you keep the squareness of the chest and you're just working on that rotation through the cervical spine. Couple breaths here. Be gentle on your neck, right? Your neck doesn't like to be tugged on or pushed too far past its comfort zone, so be gentle there. Release to center. Exhale, turn. Inhale to center. So find that full range for you every time. Using the exhale to help find that end range. Inhale to center. One more time, exhale, turn. And release the hand up onto the knee. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Twice more. And then come to a neutral spine, drop the left hand, bring the right ear to the right shoulder. So make sure you're sitting up tall, right? You've got those anchored sit bones, neutral pelvis, nice neutral spine. So you're not coming into lateral flexion. You're staying nice and tall, and it's just that ear dropping towards the right ear. And then you can kind of actively pull that left shoulder away from the ear. And then you can go ahead and try that rounding up and pushing up with the chin. And then coming up the other direction. Inhale to center. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder as you exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. This time as you exhale, turn to the right, over the right shoulder. So pull your left shoulder away from your chin. Pull it back in space. That's what I mean. And just slowly working on that range of motion, that rotation through the cervical spine. We're keeping our chest and our hips square. It's just the head that's moving and turning to the right. You might find you have more or less range of motion on one side versus the other. And that's just a good thing to kind of make a mental note of. Inhale through center, exhale, turn. As you turn, pull that shoulder away from your chin. Inhale, exhale, twice more. And then release your hand onto your knee and 2 cat-cows. All right, we're going to transition into a tabletop position. So you can use the towel or the blanket for extra cushioning if that sounds good to you. Otherwise, tabletop, make sure you've got your hands underneath the shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. And then once you have that alignment, move into some cat-cows. Use your breath, exhaling and rounding. Inhale. Sagging the belly, pulling the chest through the hands. And then just kind of think about, how this compares to doing cat-cow in a seated position. All right, we can move our hips quite a bit more in this tabletop position. So perhaps you feel more of a stretch or more movement through the hips. Keep connecting to your breath, moving through cat and cow. And then slowly drop into a neutral spine. Okay. I want you to think about your shoulders pulling down the back, belly button pulling into the spine. So you've got structure through the torso. So basically everything's pulling to the center here. Once you take your right hand, left leg out for bird dog. Stabilize the hips through your glute and your front core, your low belly. Lift your right hand so that the bicep comes closer to your ear. And then slowly release down. Switch sides. Lift the left arm, right leg, square the hips, pull the belly in, make sure the shoulders are down. Everything's being pulled to the center to help support this 2-point stance. Release down, switch sides. Pause for a breath or two, right at the top. Finding that engagement and structure through the torso, and then find the other side. As you pull your shoulders down the back, think about growing tall through the crown of the head. Let's do one more time, either side. And then when you're done there, find tabletop, but then take your knees a little bit further back behind your hips. So you're almost like in a knee plank. I want you to take your right leg, extend it out and swivel it around and see if you can plant that foot right next to your right hand. Keep your left hand planted, open up the right hand and face that right knee. So you're opening up sort of into a twist into that right knee, shoulders down, belly in, right hand extended up overhead. There you go, Terilyn, you got it. There you go, Mike. Now look up to that hand. Look up. Yeah, there you go. Good. All right, now take that right hand, heel toe your right foot more towards the middle so you can frame the foot and then sit up. So you're in a half kneeling position here. You can make your feet wide, so your foot wider than your knee. That way you've got a stable base. Think about taking the right hip back, the left hip forward and tucking the tail under. That's going to create your neutral hip. Now, as you inhale, push your hips forward, raise your hands overhead. Keep your gaze forward for now. And then exhale, come back over that back knee. Good. Inhale. Raise your arms up, squeeze that left glute, keep your hips underneath you, and then release down. One more. Come on up. We're gonna pause here, bring your right hand to your right hip. And then you're gonna lean over to the right with your left hand, just a little bit of a side stretch. You should feel it all the way down to that planted knee. Come back up, raise both hands up. Exhale, bring your hands down. You can heel toe that foot out and see if you can lift it up and swivel it back around. Okay, we're gonna go to the other side. The left leg is gonna pick up, swivel it around, see if you can plant it on the outside of that left hand. Now that left hand is gonna open up into the left leg and gonna come up overhead. So you got your right hand planted and your left hand up. Yep, you got it. There you go. Good. Squeeze the glutes so that your hips stay square and your belly button twists towards your left leg. And then one pull of the shoulders down the back. Release that left hand to the mat. Heel toe that left foot so you're framing that front leg and then come up into half kneeling. And then again, for balance, you can open up your stance. So you've got some width there. Okay, square the hips. So especially that right hip, push it forward in space, tuck the tail under. Inhale, arms up, shift the weight forward. Exhale, come on back. Inhale. Squeeze that right glute as you get up and then exhale, come on back. Let's do two more. Inhale. Exhale. One more. I want you to really think about squeezing that right glute so the right hip stays underneath you and you get that stretch through the front of the hip. Release the hands down. You can heel toe that left foot out a little bit so that you can get that lift. See if you can lift it up and swing it back into tabletop. Once you're in tabletop, go through a couple rounds of cat-cow. And then we're going to transition back into a seated position. So grab your towel, blanket, what have you. Make sure you're sitting right on the edge of it so you create that neutral hip. We're going to have our legs out in front of us. A little bend in the knees if needed to be able to sit comfortably in this position. You can also have a bolster or something under your knees if needed. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, fold just a little bit. Now, when you fold, I want you to think about creating a nice long spine. So you might not get very far in your fold, and that's okay. But you think your sit bones coming from straight down underneath you as you're upright. And then as you fold, your sit bones are starting to pull and push back behind you. So that's where the lengthening in your hamstrings come from, is those sit bones rotating back behind you and eliminating any flexion or rounding through the back. And that's going to take it out of the hamstrings. So if you have really tight hamstrings, you're not going to get very far in this, but you should feel it fairly strong. Breathe through it. If it feels really tight. Slowly come upright. Take your right sole of your foot to your inner left thigh. So you're kind of in a flag or a figure four. And rotate your torso so you're more over your left leg. Fill up. And exhale, forward fold. Now I want some engagement through your left leg. So that kneecap is up the leg, or you've got a little bend in the knee. Okay. And then your right knee is being pulled towards the ground as you try to maintain a long spine and get those sit bones to do that rocking, that anterior pelvic tilt. Use your exhales to get into the fold just a little bit more, just little baby steps. And then slowly come out of that. Bring your foot over your left leg. Bring your right hand right behind your hip to allow yourself to sit up tall. Make sure that right shoulder is away from the ear. Inhale your left leg, your left arm up. Exhale, twist into that leg body, turn to the right and hug that knee in So you're hugging that knee and that leg across the left as you turn to the right. Nice and tall through the spine. Try to pull your shoulders down the back, so into those back pockets. And then maybe if the neck is feeling it, you can complete that twist by looking over your right shoulder. Take that slow though. Breathe through. Slowly unwind. Release that right leg long. Just a little bit of bouncing of the knees in between. And then let's take the left sole of the foot into the right inner thigh. Sit up tall. Feel those sit bones straight down into the blanket underneath you. Rotate your body so that your belly button and your torso are more over your right leg. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Remember, you're prioritizing the long spine. That long spine will require your hips to anteriorly tilt. So tilt forward, like dumping out water in front of you. You can think about that left knee being pulled to the ground, opening up that left hip a little bit. Slowly come up out of that. Take your left foot over your right leg. And then bring your left hand right behind the hip so you can sit tall, but keep that shoulder behind, down the back. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, twist into that left leg as you twist to the left. Now again, that left leg is being pulled across your body as you twist your torso, your rib cage to the left. You should feel a nice stretch through that left hip. Maybe you finish that twist by turning over and looking over the left shoulder. Slowly release out of that. Release both legs long, a little bouncing of the knees. And then we're going to come back onto our back. So take your time to get there. Keep your knees bent once you get there and your feet on the ground. Bring your feet as wide as your yoga mat and let your knees fall together. And then again, just like we did in the beginning, let your hands rest gently on your hips, on either side of your hips. And just feel the weight of your body on the ground. Let gravity pull you into the ground underneath you. And just be here. Breathe. All right, heel toe your feet together. Now we're going to do legs up the wall in the middle of the room. Okay, you can do one leg at a time if that's more comfortable for you. It also can be helpful to grab either a block or your blanket or towel and put it right under your hips so your hips are just slightly elevated. Sometimes that helps, just getting your legs over your hips and having them stay there. It feels a little bit better. So you can experiment with having something right under your hips to elevate your hips just a little bit. Or you can just go one leg at a time. You can use a strap to help your legs stay up. So whatever feels like the most doable for you in this moment. So you either have both legs up or you've decided to go with one leg, and I'll give you a halfway point. Your knees can be slightly bent. You really just want your legs centered right over your hips so that they can stay there without too much effort. And if you feel like, whew, that's really hard, yeah, I see both of you kind of holding your legs, which is great. You can also use a strap to help either over your balls of your feet or even behind your knees or your thighs. Just relaxing here as much as you can, right? For some of us, holding our legs over our hips is tough work. So I want you to relax as much as you can. Breathe send your attention to your legs and your feet. See if you can tune into the feeling of the fluid in your legs actually exiting, draining out. I know both of you have both your legs up, but just in case someone decides to watch this and is doing one leg, it's about halfway, so switch. And release the feet down. If you put something under your hips, take that out. Slide it off to the side. Pull your knees together, your feet together, and kind of squeeze them together. Open up your arms to a T and let your knees fall to the right. So just a simple twist, right? And here you can kind of adjust your hips, that right hip, if you want to kind of pull it into the center of the mat a little bit. And you might find that a block or your blanket folded up might feel really nice under your bottom knee, just so that you can have that grounding sensation. So feel free to take the time to create a little pillow for that right knee. And then as best you can, release into this twist. So find that area, those areas where you might be holding tension, and try to figure out a way to let go of that tension. Perhaps it means you need something under that knee, or maybe you come out of your twist a little bit, or maybe you do something different with the legs. Try to relax into this twist. Again, becoming heavier and heavier into the ground with each exhale. Come through center, readjust the hips, maybe even pre-adjust the hips to go to the other side. So lifting your hips up and pulling that left hip more towards the center of the mat, and then allowing both knees to fall, bringing that pillow you might have had for the other side to this side, opening up your arms to a T. You can cactus your arms too if you have limited space. Cactusing your arms is doable. And then turn and look over your right arm. And then just with each exhale, grow a little heavier into the ground. Slowly bring those knees back through center, adjust the hips. I want you just do one bridge so that you can pick the spine up, the hips and spine up, and then lay it down, back down, just sort of reestablishing that alignment on the ground. And then allow your knees to come out wide and the soles of your feet to come together into Supta Baddha Konasana. If this doesn't feel particularly good for you, you can go straight into Shavasana. You can also use pillows or blankets underneath either of the thighs to just give them that grounding sensation. And then let your hands rest wherever it feels comfortable and natural. Shut down your eyes. I want you to create an internal drishti, an internal gazing point right between the eyebrows, so your third eye. So even though you have your eyes closed, you're focusing in on one point. And use that drishti to help maintain that connection to right now. that drishti, your breath, the sensation of grounding, all of those things keeping you present in the moment and really enjoying this moment of stillness, of quiet. When you're ready, you can release one leg at a time. You can also stay in Supta Baddha Konasana for as long as you like. I want you to fill up your lungs through your nose and sigh it out. Exhale. Do it again. Inhale through the nose. Make a noise. Sigh it out. Last one. Inhale. Seal your lips. Breathe in and out. Become heavier and heavier. Starting from the back of the head, just almost feeling the brain sort of settle in the back of your skull, creating a little bit of heaviness there. Feel your shoulders release, jaw, temples, forehead, all release as you breathe in and out. Let your chest be heavy. Your belly lets go. Release your hips into the ground. Your legs, your calves. Let your feet flop out wide. Breathe. Slowly begin to reawaken. Take it slow though. Start with your breath. Little bits at a time. Take in more breath. Then add a little bit of movement, starting small. Maybe finding a full body stretch eventually. A nice deep breath. And then you can use a roll to the side if you like, or you can come straight up into a seated position as you take your time finding that seated position with or without the blanket. But if you like that blanket underneath you, take the time to put it there. Sit nice and tall. Shut down your eyes. Bring your hands to heart center and lift your chest to meet your thumbs like a proud chest. And bow your chin. One last time, I want you to bring in all of the gratitude that you have for movement, for community, for each other, for breath, for being alive, right? Whatever you've got in that gratitude jar, celebrate it here, bringing it to the forefront. And then bring your thumbs to your third eye, give a little bit of pressure as you bow. Namaste. Thanks, guys. It was just a nice little intimate party between the three of us. I appreciate you coming.